Hey, bourbon family, welcome back to Whiskey Phoenix, where smooth is optional and fire is mandatory. Now, before I get into this bourbon review, because I don't know what's happening on this app, I just want to state I am not a paid sponsor. My content does not promote or sell alcohol 21 and over. I am just giving my opinion about something that I love. Now, with that being said, fam, how are we holding up on this Saturday? How much snow do you have in your area right now? Let me know in the comments. So, fam, I am here with a bourbon review. I spun the wheel o' whiskey, as I'm affectionately referring to it. And what came up on the whiskey today? Old Grandad 114. Now, fam, I have been wanting to try this. I'm not gonna lie. I've been holding on to it for a while. Um, so I'm really excited to get into this. And as I get this cork pop going, I have got actually a Glen and I have got my Diamis. And I want to see if I can see drastic differences. So let's get this cork popped while I fight with this cork. Let's go over a little bit about the story and the name of Old Grandad 114. I mean, fam, y'all know I love my research, and I got right over here. So the story in the name, the brand originates from 1882. Hold on, cannot miss this pop. Not bad. Created by Raymond B. Hayden to honor his grandfather, Basil Hayden Sr. We've all had some Basil Hayden, I'm sure, in our lifetime, right, fam? And the 114 significance is a nod to its proof point, 114. It was designed to be uncut and unapologetic. The bourbon pays homage to the older barrel strength traditions, offering a stronger, more intense, and flavor forward experience than standard offerings. There was an ownership transition that took place in 1987 when Beam Suntory took over. We all know that. Most people know that. I don't want to say we all know. Maybe you're new and you don't. Like I didn't know that till last year. And they continued with the 114 expression. I know a lot of people love this. I am looking forward to getting into it. Let me get this poured into both glasses. Now, fam, why I let that open up for a little bit, let's go over some of the specs, shall we? We know that it's 114 proof. We know the company is Beam Suntory. We know the distiller is Jim Beam. This doesn't have a specific age statement that I can find, but we know it has to be aged at least 4 years by TTB regulations. The mash bill on this comes in at 63% corn, 27% rye, and 10% malted barley. And I think one of the things that people love about it the most is its MSRP coming in anywhere from $25 to $35. I've heard various takes on that. While we continue to let this open up a little bit, I could not find anything negative in my research about this Old Grandad 114. Everybody cites it. It's such a great value. Again, anywhere from $25 to $35. They say the flavor profile on this is solid and full bodied, but it has that powerful classic bourbon taste enhanced by the 114 proof. They say that this is really a good one for high proof lovers. And they even suggest this might be a good stepping stone if you want to get into a little bit higher proofs on that. And I guess there's a lot of versatility to this as well, whether you drink it neat, on the rocks, or maybe make a Manhattan or old fashioned with it. But I do love the color on this. I think it's got a great mahogany or copper color. So what I'm going to do, and I would do it off camera, I am going to do the Glen first on the nose, and then I'll go to the Diamis. Stay tuned. Okay, fam, this nose is really nice. Now, in the Glen, I got right away cinnamon, followed by some oak, some orange peel, and a slight caramel. Now, when I smelled it in the Diamis, all of a sudden I got vanilla and even some butterscotch. So I'm really like being blown away right now what the differences can be between a Glen and the Diamis. So now let's get into this. You know, I'm going to take that first sip, waken up my palate, and I'll be back with my tasting notes. Fam, the palate on this for me, I started with the Diamis, came across slightly sweet, definitely the rye spice. I can feel it on the side of my tongue with some vanilla, brown sugar, and even some caramel. Now, when I tried it out of the Glen, the only thing I was really getting there was, if I was judging it off that, it was kind of warm. I didn't notice as much sweetness. The rye spice was still there. The brown sugar was still there. And the caramel was still there. So not a big difference between tasting notes between the two. I'd have to say, I feel like I picked up more flavor and everything on the palate out of the Diamis. Now, I want to do one more sip of each and see where I land as far as the finish goes on this. Okay, fam, so for me, on the finish, out of the Diamis, I picked up some spicy and molasses. Little bit of warmth as well on the finish. When I tried it out of the Glen, I still got that spiciness, but the Glen actually gave me more cinnamon and charred oak. So definitely a little bit of differences there. I didn't pick up as much cinnamon or the charred oak in the Diamis as I did in the Glen. So overall, fam, on the Whiskey Phoenix rating scale, this budget bourbon comes in at a flame. It is solid and dependable, and I would recommend picking it up. I know I'm glad I finally picked up a bottle of it and was finally able to try it, because I've heard so many good things from so many people about this bourbon. I know this year one of my plans is I want to try to not be a bourbon snob like I feel like I was last year, the more I got to thinking about it. And I actually want to start trying things that may be on that bottom shelf or even the second to bottom shelf. So there you have it on this snowy Saturday, bourbon family. Again, if you are partaking, please drink responsibly. And remember, stay sharp, stay burning, rise again, and I will see you in the next one.